preparing to live stream the meeting. Setting up your meeting. I always mess this part up whenever it's doing the thing, and then I got to go back and edit it when I load it to the thing. And then it's always me like, is it on? Look, it's doing it right now. Damn it. To live stream the meeting. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Texas Poetry Roadshow. I'm Lupe Mendez, your Texas Poet Laureate, and these are the poets. Aldo below me, Mohammed diagonally, right? Diagonal. And then Natty to my left, your right, if you're seeing this. This is the third installment of the Texas Poetry Roadshow. I have curated a reading, 18 people. This is this set of 3. There are 6 readings. This is the third reading. Hopefully you've enjoyed the other 2 readings, and this is this reading. And so I'm going to do bios, and we're going to get into it because you wanted and demanded more poetry. You didn't. I'm just saying you did. And we're going to do this thing, right? So bios, I'm going to be looking this way because I have a double screen and things. And is everybody ready? Poets, wave high because we're good. Okay, so let me do these bios, and then we'll get to it professionally. If there are other poets and professors that are watching this, this can be used for academic courses and relatable work for pedagogy and literary consumption. And moving on. All right, so beginning with our October reading, Natasha Carrizosa is a poet and writer. Her work is deeply rooted in her childhood and life experiences. Raised as the daughter of a fierce African-American mother and Mexican father, her writings reflect the dichotomy of these 2 rich cultures. She is the author of Mexiafricana, Heavy Light, and Crown. Her work has been published in Manteca, an anthology of Afro-Latino poets, Contra, Texas Poets Speak Out, Defunct Magazine, Cutthroat Magazine, Raising Mothers, and R2, the Rice Review from Rice University. She has performed her work and conducts workshops for audiences in Madrid, Paris, St. Lucia, New York, New Mexico, and countless other cities. ¿Qué me dices? She has collaborated with Aspen Challenge, Aspen Youth Leadership Forum, Aspen World, Bessel Scholars, Right About Now, Public Poetry, Tintero Projects, Writers in the Schools, and Poets and Writers. She is a Cool Speaks youth engagement speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, Natasha Carrizosa. Mohammed Khaerisman is a Muslim, Indonesian, American, 24. Are you still 24? 25, 21, 20, 24? Sweet. Multidisciplinary artist and storyteller. His craft lives in the intersection of acting, poetry, music, movement, photography, filmmaking, and love. So everything. His art lives in everything. A graduate of the University of Houston's Bachelor in Fine Arts and Acting program, Khaerisman pushes to reimagine education to nurture and not traumatize those that pursue it. He is the founder of Coug Slam, UH's first poetry team and community. Khaerisman is ever grateful to all the people he met through Coug Slam and Right About Now poetry that nurtured his love for writing. In its first year, Coug Slam received top honors and ranked 4th in the nation at the Collegiate Youth Poetry Slam Invitational. Khaerisman received his Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Acting from UH and has worked as actor, playwright, and director in various projects throughout the southern region of the U.S. Currently, as we're actually doing the show, he is backstage at a theater rehearsal. And so we in the work, always doing the amazing things. Ladies and gentlemen, Mohammed Khaerisman. And then last but not least, Aldo Amparán is the author of Brother Sleep, Alice James Books, September 2022. Felicidades on the book. And winner of the 2020 Alice James Award. They are recipients of fellowships from the National Endowment for the Arts and Canto Mundo. Their work has been widely published in magazines and anthologies, including the Academy of American Poets Poem a Day, Best New Poets, Kenyon Review Online, New England Review, Plowshares, Poetry, and elsewhere. They hold an MFA in creative writing from the best MFA program in the country, the University of Texas at El Paso, where he currently teaches. Ladies and gentlemen, Aldo Amparán. And so here's the way we will go for the evening. Mohammed will go first. Nadi will go second. Aldo will close us out. And so poets, if I could please ask you, if you're not reading, turn your screens off. And Mohammed, it's all you, baby.
Hey, you know, Just want to say thank you to Lupe. Shout out to Beto Projects. Shout out to Texas on everything. Yeah, let's get into it, yo. My name is Mohammed Khair. It's been a pleasure to meet y'all. Assalamu alaikum to all the ummah in the house. And peace be upon everybody in the building tonight, or virtually in your own building tonight. But it goes, where did I come from? Feel like I just got here and already I need to know what I want, who I am, what I am, what am I, what are we? Why do we have to fight each other over differences in lifestyle? Thank you for believing in me, even if I'm just learning what belief is. But if I am to hold our dreams, then I must learn to expand, to hold everyone's expectations. I refuse to choose one way of life. Am I allowed to be the bridge that connects the tribes, the cage, and the free? Let me be the reason we sing and dance together again. Some seem to stomp like a reminder that we are alive here. Some show me a how can be what unchains us from our worry. Is it naive to dream? Isn't that what we are made of? The dreams of the people before us, before a plane was a plane, it was a dream of flight. Before a rocket took flight, it was a dream to stand on the moon. Imagine how childish they seemed, dreaming of wings in a world of arms and legs, whether caged or free. It's always been so much bigger than just you or me. We are from a history of people before us, faces and hands and feet that walked far enough for us to get right here, now, not fear, not scared. We are the bridge that connects the story ahead of us. We are in good hands. The youth are hungry and wise beyond our years, been broken and gone through the ringer. 10 rounds, ding, ding, ding. The clock is ticking. The hands of time has always been most tender in the rooms I feel most at home. So welcome. Peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum. I know it's been a long time since we've seen each other. How are you? I've been good. Mostly each day be a blessing. Sleep is like an almost death, a moment when we mirror our ancestors, lying like a coffin or like a mattress, a space to rest truly. And it scares us how fast it can all go. But if we lived a life filled doing the things we'd love, how could it have been a waste of time? A waste of money? A waste of energy? Are we not worth it? Sitting, scrambling, scribbling our lives away as if it isn't a gift to cherish. Of course, I want to live. Who doesn't want the hand of a lover softly placed on their cheek? A moment where you can lay your weight of your mind in someone else's hands. How beautiful it is to be alive. How beautiful it is to survive everything that tried to make us lesser than we are. Sacred is the space where the waves kisses our feet. Goodbye. I miss you dearly, even right now. But I'm glad you're sitting wherever you are. Keep breathing in and out, in and out, in. And I knew it was love because I never had to explain myself. I felt relieved around you before we even touched. I just loved being around you, the warmth. You embrace everyone that shares space with you. And I'm just thankful you chose to love me back. Love me like you never wanted to take anything from me. Love me like we were little kids again, giggling and laughing just from sharing eye contact. I remember the first night I said you could stretch your legs on top of mine on the couch that I got from the dumpster with the one broken leg replaced by a stack of books. I never felt so at home before. Just a touch with no intentions of anything more. I cherished your trust. I cherished how safe you felt with me in a space I designed for myself. I'm grateful to share with you always. In another life, I imagine we were lovers too. How else could you feel so familiar, like a treasure or an heirloom passed down from generations before us? I know before us, love has always danced with you with a suffocating grip. I hope you never feel like you have to hold your breath with me. Hope you feel like you can exhale again and smile without looking over your shoulders. What a blessing it is to be loved by you. At 3:47 a.m., I sit with God. Come to life blast from the JBL. I'm stone cold sober. No vices around to distract from the fact that I want more from life than what I see in front of my eyes. Right before my eyes, I see how fast people will switch when the pressure hits the fan. Someone's savior can become Satan overnight. I took an overnight flight back to Houston to see the love of my life perform. I remember to remind myself to calm down, to not impose myself in their life, because I know the things I want don't align with where their life is taking them. Yet, as I watch them perform, I'm reminded of a garden in Houston where a man running for his life allowed love to root himself to a gardener. Graceful and eloquent, we danced under the stage lights like the curtains could never close, like we knew nothing of closing. I released ownership over any human being and opened myself up to new beginnings. Been traveling anywhere that had a couch or a floor or an air mattress for me to lay my head. I was homeless in New York for a night or two, skated through the morning, followed the light to Times Square, and found myself editing photos in the greatest city in the world. No place could welcome me home that didn't cost money. I come with 62 cents into the city to see how I would fare. And genuinely, I loved every second of it. The uncertainty has never made me afraid. In fact, how humbling to be in a city where everyone is the protagonist of their story. My story takes me to Atlanta, where I'm once again misused by a white man entitled to my livelihood, yet still won't pronounce my name. Muhammad is 3 syllables, named after the prophet, my grandfather, and the greatest fighter of all time. I choose to put my fist down again and provide grace again to someone determined to minimize me again. I wonder, why does calling me Mo make you feel safer? Am I something to fear? Or does seeing something you can't control bring fear into your heart? What are you afraid of? I haven't clocked into a job I didn't create for myself for half a decade, and I can see how easy it must look to fly anywhere I want, to have ownership over my time, to say no to the people that don't give a damn about my life, but looks can be deceiving. Yet, I did not arrive to prove my alive to anyone. May this phone, may this poem find you in congregation with the people that loves you unapologetically as you are. How lucky you are to find good company in a world blinded by mirrors. And in defense of love, I know a love exists that doesn't depend on taking something from another person. I felt it before. I remember that I never had to explain myself. Instead, it was understood before I even found the right words to translate this feeling. Love finds you when you stop searching, because it's always been clinging to you. Like shirts on summer days, do you not remember how nervous you were for your first kiss, holding hands tight because they knew nothing of empty? Remember how you wanted to kiss them and they wanted to kiss you, but you waited long enough to practice and still missed their mouth and kissed their nose? Remember the smile, light-eyed laughter? Remember how you ran after she kissed you, triumphantly dancing down the halls? I think a love exists that doesn't involve transactions. I always say I love you first because I know how fleeting it is to find some love in someone that doesn't pray for you. Let these I love yous be a reminder, a prayer, a source of levity, hope for reciprocation. But no, your cup is full already. Your cup is full already. Your cup is full. I fell in love during the apocalypse. She taught me how to take care of my hair. I thought my curls were just dry, not knowing curly hair needs a different kind of love to flourish. I'm grateful. Even if it wasn't forever, I'm glad it happened at all. I remember she washed my hair and gently added curling cream and other products. It was the safest I ever felt. Naked in a bathtub, sitting drenched in water, her thighs a place to rest my head. I think that's why it hurt so much when it didn't work out. Wish I could snapshot that moment and live in it forever. But things happen how they're supposed to happen. And love should never make anyone feel trapped. So I hope you're happy wherever you are. I hope you're cherished and safe somewhere, taking care of your hair, curls blooming from your scalp, flourishing like flowers in the springtime, eyes piercing and soft, at the same time, beautiful to me in every way. Grateful, very grateful, always. And to the young artist that thinks they're not going to make it because capitalism has exploited your time, talent, and energy, remember, we did not pick up this pen to sign paychecks or pay rent or pay a fine just to be alive. Instead, We fled from the beaten path and chose to mark our own course. Remember, no one asked us to be here but ourselves. And every day I hear you screaming, battling with yourself, saying you're an imposter and don't deserve to imagine a world better than the one we live in. But remember that it was actors on stage that touched your heart long enough to welcome your inner child to the room. Remember the tears you cried because someone finally saw you long enough to ask you your name. Remember, we carved ourselves onto the page, screen, or canvas because we did not see enough of us growing up. We did not come here to get paid, but you are worth every dollar you say you are. No one will love you until you love yourself. And I know that's a scary path to go down, but your value is not determined by your bank account. In fact, rarely will money solve your problems. In fact, money often brings about more. In fact, money is not the only compensation. Why are you here? Right here. Not there, not fear, not scared. Why did you choose to paint with words or dance like you had the audacity to smile through rumbling stomachs and teary eyes? Who told you you're allowed to create something you wish to see, taste, hear, feel, touch, and be? Remember, you never needed permission to be yourself. And art is simply a magnifying glass to get a closer look at the world around us. It may be something someone somewhere will award you gold and other chains, but remember, we did not come here to be chained, but it's okay to want more for yourself. It's okay to not want to starve today. It's okay to want a bed frame, to lay your head, a roof, and food made by loving hands just because they knew it was your favorite. I know you feel like you're not there yet, but remember, you will get there eventually. Remember to remind your lips to creep up and out like roller coaster rides. This life is your amusement park. You simply haven't unlocked all the attractions yet, but the ones you've built will always exist for you. You, beautiful, audacious, brilliant source of light. Remember all the steps you walked to get here, not there, not fear, not scared. Remember, you took everything this world gave you and you built yourself farther than anyone ever expected you to go. We were birds before we called Earth our homes. I remember it like a distant memory, blues of all shades and hues shining from the lights of the leaf cracks. We spoke to each other in a different language, had different sounds to express things. I remember the warmth in my dreams. When I close my eyes, I see freedom, true, unfiltered existence, despite the uncertainty of it all, despite machines that tell us to work. We are not cogs or screws or nails, got gears, got hopes and dreams and light we have yet to live. I wonder why we are so urgent to grow. Is time not already a lifelong companion? I pray I can find peace. I pray we can all find peace. Because if we are to be the future, then we must venture where we have not before. Find comfort in uncomfortability will only lead to ease in the spaces that were once unknown. Do you hear us? Do you care? Did we give you enough? Did we get to where we were going? Kalau mau jadi pohon beringin, akarnya harus kuat. If you want to be a tree that gives wishes, your roots have to be strong. Inna lillahi wa inna lillahi raji'un. Indeed, to God we belong, and to God we will return. So cry not when I go back home. Hold each other tight and dance a swing or a tango or something that takes at least two. Rejoice at the service and laugh till you don't know if the tears are joy or sorrow. Tomorrow, my absence will still feel heavy in your pockets, but carry me wherever you go. Tell the people you love my story, or at least my name. Let my janazah be prayed at Masjid Hamza in Alief, Texas, by the taco stands and apartment complexes where I first got my Chuck Taylor stolen. Let my brothers carry my tomb. Let my nephews lower me into the ground. Let me be cleaned by my mother's hands. And may my sisters and father remember to smile even when it hurts. Ya Allah, make me be a celebration of life, a story ending, chapter closing, and may my book be in my right hand when I awake again, and my light, my nur, lead my family back to me. Thank you. Thank you.
Can y'all see me? Oh my goodness. So I think that was Mohammed's director who needed to get him to go do a scene. Um, so next, Natty, whatever you got, whatever amazingness you are, I thank you and I love you, and the stage is yours.
I love you too. Those last words and
Correct.
that close.
Correct, right?
Okay, let me see what I can do. Before you go, thank you. Thank you for building us up, for building the poets up, and strengthening community. And I am so very proud to have you as my personal Texas Poet Laureate. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Blessings to you. Blessings to you.
All right, here we go. I just came back from New Orleans just this morning. And while I was there, there's this place called Congo Square. I've always wanted to see it. I've heard these stories about the ancestors gathering there, the slaves gathering there on Sundays, and I just had to see it. So I went. And I was wondering what to read. I don't think I've ever read this poem out loud. It's called Catch a Fire. It's in this Manteca book collection of Afro-Latino poetry. But it's kind of how I'm feeling. Catch a fire, balance in the wind like bird on a wire, uproots like words with my mouth, take the reins from the God ground and build a birdhouse, speak truth, live most higher, take spirit from sound, burn them from the inside out, take embers from the flame, build an empire, admonish the wicked in the Babylonian tower, put on the full armor of God, polish my peace every minute, every hour. Time waits for no man. Time come now to take a stand. Hands up, Black power fist balled up, man down, freedom fighter, buffalo soldier up, beat chest with both hands until your heartbeat rings out. Don't eat them devil handouts. Stand your ground from the ghetto to the prison yard, from the projects to the White House, from the South Side to the North Star. No more blackface, song and dance. This is Mama Africa's black hands, freedom wringing the necks of the oppressors. This is Haitian slave rebellion, cane field burning, no more weeping and wailing, no more black bodies in the streets. This is nail in the cross, gnashing of teeth, a blood sacrifice for the ancestors. This is Bigger Thomas. This is Black Wall Street. This is Nat Turner uprising. This is us realizing that they are not bigger than us. This is for the whites of their eyes, for the white lies, the bloodshed. This is Mama said, if you let them whip you, when you get home, I'm gonna whip you. This is whips and chains. This change ain't gonna come till we do. This is blood on the ground, bird on a wire. This is get together to get higher. This is catch hell for every one of us, they caught. This is take back for every one of us they sold and bought. This is cry blood for every one of us they killed. This is truths and rights. This is we were born free. Burn them slave drivers. This is catch a fire for every time they touched we. Why y'all do me like this tonight? Oh, I love poetry. I love words. I love the stories. I love my family. I love being Black and brown. But sometimes that's very difficult to do. This is called Black Rock Don't Dream. Running from white cloud, second hands quaking, quicksand swallowing, stifling blood moon howling, streaming charcoal tears, quieting crashing waves, questioning savior or slaving. I be damn, burning, watering, can't take no more offering. Got more holes in my mind than a lie. Got more cracks in my heart than block. Got more rage page can't hold. Got more black soul water holes. Got more blues indigo. Where I go, sky can't hold me. Where I go, hell feels so holy. Where I go when my gutter come out. Where I go when my waterfall too salty. Ain't nowhere to run. They all call me Mama. I was taught before I could walk the ways of the Black Rock. Stay low to the ground, get high as sound, drink only from river mouth, don't cry and don't look back, sit in a seashell. When it gets too loud, if you see hell coming, you better not say nothing. Hold your mud, can't turn into dust. You mustn't drown. Rock don't dream, she become mountain. Rock dry cry, she be fountain. Rock been big men lullaby, she never was, baby. All black rocks got is more black rocks. What is life without a womb? A black rock. What is the world without a black woman? Dream. Who is God? Where is God? What is she? Black rocks. I have this habit of playing hide and seek with myself. Most times I find my likeness in the corner of a lightless room so close to sound, I am the speaker, covered in clothed clouds, praying out loud that God come down and rain dance on my soul. Shake the wind chimes from my mind. By angels I was told I was not the diamond nor the coal, but the diamond mine, and whatever I touch, it shall be mine. Unlike Midas, more like Moses, I have no use for gold. So I keep my hands to myself and touch when told, because I have watched the water become blood, both in buckets of wood and pitchers of stone. I have this habit of playing hide and seek with myself. I close my eyes and count to 10. I find it safe near strange men. With knotted dreads, they unknot my seams with rebellion talk and cincy seeds. Suffering is poetry. Surrender is poverty. Nati, you have to walk to water to set fire to truth. So blaze, fire, blaze, let the lioness loose. You must climb the tree to know the root. Pray, sister, pray. Cry, brother, cry. Dig deep into the earth with both hands tied. Bare feet and bloody knees, I climb so high, I never left the ground. When my blues become too heavy, I break my own levee to collect my tears so I don't drown. And then I drink, then I chant, then I drink, then I chant Rastafari. Babylon, your throne gone down. Babylon, your throne gone down. I have this habit of playing hide and seek with myself. Drink until I see the rest of me. I've been baptized by tragedy, in love with the liquor man because he brings out the best in me. I have learned to hide myself in the last line of the poem. On the back of a lie, the bottom of a shoe, a Peter Tosh tune. I made a grown man cry because he made me blue. I drink when I'm reminded of my youth and innocence. I swear it's the brandy that makes me brilliant. I was 19 and pregnant with $7 in my pocket to get me from here to there, and both places was nowhere. So I crawled to the corner of my soul, held my belly in both hands when the rains came cold, and I told my baby she was an empress before she was born. Yes, little baby, some days you will cry. Mockingbirds will make mockery of your dreams because grown men lie. But crowns ain't made by thieves. They come from the Most High. I have this habit of playing hide and seek with myself. I read my Bible to break my mirrors, sing Selassie my redemption song, because all I ever had. And then I drink my fire water to write my poems. Now you see me. Now you don't. Oh, I wrote that a long time ago.
It's still fire. It's still fire.
Thank you for saying that. I love this new way. I didn't like this new way of gathering, but it is what we have, and we have done some amazing things with it. Just that it's fire lets me know I'm not by myself. So thank you, Poet Laureate. What do I want to read? I want to read Lupe asked me one time, he said, Natty, what are you doing so-and-so day? The Museum of Fine Arts Houston wants to do a project.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I am so proud of these poems. I created a series called Indigena, where we got the opportunity to go see the art and write what we felt. So I saw this, one of the pieces that I chose was a huge, like big as this wall, almost to me. And a yellow textile. It was made of bird feathers.
Oh, that's right. It was a whole,
Yes.
it was like a whole cape like
yeah, it
blanket
was
thing, robe.
huge. It was
Beautiful.
So this is what I wrote. Yellow feather, or weaving a textile for my mother. Oshun rules over the waters of the world. I was born golden fish mouth. Oshun saved the world by luring Ogun from forest. I was born wildfire tree. Hey, Lilia, she's watching. I call her wildfire. Oshun saved the world from drought by flying into heaven. I was born with honeybee, feather of peacock crown. Oshun manifests herself, Ikole. I was born yellow feather messenger of the Olodumare house. All who come from my blood must drink from river. All who beg to become priests must kneel before man created religion, before man knew words, God, deity, mythology, jaguar, ancestor, trees, mountain, corn, grows. I was born yellow feather, daughter of Oshun. I was born oceans, clouds, sun, smoke in my nose, in my breath resides your gold. You will lose yourself searching for me. I gave myself chills. Ooh. I get heavy. This is called heavy light. I get heavy when I get light. Some days like today, I wake up crying. My people went to bed crying. I am a wishing well, a basket full of burnt offering. I'm an altar boy with a story to tell, a runaway slave, no lamb for the slaughtering. I live to loose chains. I love to walk through pain, yours and mine. I am a middleman prayer line. You talk to me and I talk to God. She says no, I nod. He says go, I trod through the valley of shadows, fearing no evil because she walks with me, setting fire to sound because you talk like me. I get heavy when I get light. It has always been so, a life full of shots fired, one in the chamber, a one-winged bird living on a prayer, so we take flight so. It has always been black sheep and branches, a desire to leave the flock and chase the wind, to go out on a limb, to run from the wolves and live like a lion, so we roar so. It has always been so back of the grocery store bum with a bottle full of hope and a handful of rum. We refuse to beg for change, so we just wait on it to come. There is a growling in our bellies and a howling in our mouths, so we madman babble while we burn Babylon. So I get heavy when I get light. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard. I heard her say, you are the people, and the people are the church. We are a church full of pimps and prostitutes, has-beens and have-nots, the rich dreams of the destitute, the salty tears of Lot, brothers like Cain and Abel, keepers of dreams like Cain and Abel, just like Jacob wrestling with an angel, begging God to give me all the light that she got so I can give it to my people because you think she forgot. I refuse to lose you because you all that I got. You are me and me is he. We all we need, we all we got. I get heavy when I get light. Love is a lesson. The burden is a blessing. Without mess, there is no message. You got to get heavy to get the light. Thank you. Thank you, Lupe. Thank you, everybody. Is that, did I do good, Lupe?
Natty,
Huh?
I need a moment. I need a moment. Like, I don't even know how to process. Like, I don't.
What happened?
This,
You
I
know
love
what?
you, and you're brilliant.
Thank you. Poetry is healing.
Yo.
You know the story. You know how I was feeling.
Correct.
No, you
Correct.
got to do this. You got to stand up and do this. I cannot tell you thank you enough. Although I can't wait to hear you. I'm gonna hang around, okay? So I'm
Okay.
here.
All right.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Natasha Carrizosa. We love you. We thank you. And now Aldo will close out the reading for the evening. No pressure. Do whatever magic you got. It's so good to be like across town, quote unquote. And thank you for being willing to share space. And it's all you.
Thank you so much, Lupe, for allowing me this space to share with so many amazing poets, Natasha, Muhammad. I was like really moved with your words, powerful, powerful words. So I'll begin reading from my book. This is the first time I read directly from my actual book. So I'm super excited for that. And yeah, and I'll finish up with a new poem. So this is called Endings. This morning I had pho for breakfast, a whole bank of it, before moonrise, plucked from the corners of the mountain, and already I'm thinking about the end of the day, the sunbed unmade, the lull and the sex of a boy who reminds me of someone I'd rather keep unnamed, the headache after the orgasm. I've been thinking too much about my brother lately, just how much of the day he spent asleep before his end, as if the end devoured like voracious fog the hours he had left on earth. I want a different ending, or rather a thing that doesn't end in heartache or headache. The sea and the sun, for instance, the quiet nestle of clouds falling down the pits of my body. Interrogation of the Sodomite. This has two epigraphs. In Mexico City, in 1901, police detained 41 gay men at a dance. Many were imprisoned and subjected to labor. Since, in Mexico, the number 41 has been used in jokes and derogatory remarks against gay men. There are currently 6 countries where the death penalty is used for people in same-sex relationships: Iran, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, Yemen, Nigeria, and Somalia. 1. Asked to remove my mask, I peeled off my face and let the world see. 2. Inside, a dark made of edges. Asked how I could look myself. 3. In the mirror. I stood before a lake for days, my tongue dry. 4. Stone. I drank all the water. Fish swam inside me. 5. For weeks. Tadpoles shout out my eyes in my sleep. Asked how I could dream. 6. Of men, their waltzing legs, the 41 sharp cheeks blushing in the candle-lit dark. In Mexico, the 41 abdomen soaking a river with their shame. 8. Less loving, I bit out my tongue, which shot in its silence to bruise and bloody. 9. A loving. 10. Man's forehead. 11. To death in Saudi Arabia today. 12. Just for loving. 13. The dark. 14. Edges in men. This next one is called Thanatophobia, or Sleep Addresses His Brother. And it has an epigraph by Federico García Lorca. No duerme nadie por el mundo. Night, the world boils. Men toss sleepless in their sheets like stars. Because I look down, where a man holds his only son among the spillage of buildings and children sitting on debris after the bombs cast their shadows onto stone. There the boy hangs from his father's arm, his father's hand folded to the open neck, and the open eyes like cold nickels look past me, past the white shit of linen. How terrible the fabric that veils the end. How terrible the night for him, the sleepless brother, when an American soldier swallowed a grenade which burst as it slips down his throat. A Mexican immigrant, a woman beaten half to death for stealing a pomegranate, break breaks the fruit skin open, red from her wounds like the insides of the fruit or the insides of the soldier. And doctors put to sleep a girl to replace her heart with a new beating. Soon that artificial sleep turns the same terrible fabric. Her mother, quiet as a desert in the hall, admires your heroics, untitled buffalo, that great beast at the edge of the photograph, suspended in air forever. And the girl's father reaches her mother's arm to keep her from plunging off the rooftop to fall into you. Brother, I know nothing but impermanent rest. How do you do it each time you take and wrap your permanence around sleep? Brother, you terrify me. You make my heart gallop like buffaloes in the white desert, their large bodies advancing their fall. It's called Some Notes on Love. You are not a shadow. You're not hiding any more than the moon in a sleepless city. It's midnight. You're not breaking or broken, bent between light and shade. You are not a shadow bending. You're not hiding in your room at the family reunion because your hair is the color of the sky and they must not love what the sky looks like. You're not a bruised eye, a split lip bleeding, a cracked sidewalk in a city where a million eyes inhabit the dark. You are not a shadow. You are not a shadow. You're not the dark bobbing of a body from a tree in the summer breeze or a dancer punctured by a bullet. No, you're not a shadow at the edge of a bullet. In the brightest midnight of the year, you are bright smile, which should be kissed. You are sweat and muscle. You are skin and breath. You are blood, which travels the body with its pulse. You are kissed. Scrapbook for my undoing. I'm a red speck in a blue surface, wanting to be blue. I promise I tried to keep my colors in check. And what a shame to be seen in this gray light. For the longest time, I avoided kissing a mouth I desired. I desire a second chance to open myself to this robe and to linger in my home without bargaining in dignity. How precious to be nurtured in a country and a time like this. From 2008 to 2012, Ciudad Juarez was deemed the most dangerous place on earth. In its worst year, 3,700 murders were reported, most of them attributed to drug cartels. But what of the business of hate? A silence crushes the city's windpipe. Suddenly, it's hard to inhale. In the yellow pages of a newspaper, a victim shreds their own jugular. Because they flaunt it, because they hold hands in front of the children, because they won't stay silent, because shameless, because embraced, because kissed, because family values, because weaponized public display of affection. I won't admit a man, so I'll employ a metaphor. His hip bones an orchid, embellishing the unlit suit. I've I never tasted the ridge of a flower before tonight. Tonight, the sky is bloody and attractive. My brother in the brown box died for being. Brother in that white box, he died for loving. My brother in that black box died. My father says to say he died in a brawl. No, he died defending his woman. No, my father says to say he died from immolation, ammunition, a lost bullet, a strange illness of the blood in his lungs, inside his throat, that strange sickness in his skin. Tell them, my father says, Tell them he didn't die un maricón. Next poem is called The Day I Came Out. Stains flowered the ceiling of my hotel room where I'd hardly slept. Sun leaked the inauguration of my new decade, and next to me a man I didn't know, past the bends of his body stirred. I reclined beside myself in the shade to remember his face, exalted in my breath, and how his voice shook the mounting pressures of still water as he said, I love you. Though he'd never seen me before that night, I love you. With his gin and tonic, his winter fresh, his navel piercing, his elongated O's, I love you, he'd said. And maybe war ended with the word. I turned to his sun-smooth torso asleep there, his abdomen a roadmap of white space, clavicle, shoulder, tiny birth of a bruise in the droop of his back. And I thought maybe there's still time for celebration. My future a sky blue terraria to display this ever burgeoning affection, not affliction, not affectation, nor consequence. I kissed the man's forehead and left him there, nameless, left with no number, only the memory of his skin and this brilliant yearning to be seen outside the street post. So shameless and full of color, my body broke into a wave of electricity, merging seamlessly with the rest of the world. This last poem from the collection is called The Room, This Room Will Still Exist. In the beginning, a field broke grass from damp earth and fertilizer, but crops would not grow. The city crept closer. Before you and I were born, our hearts were ripe fruit dangling in a lonely woman's backyard. 94 years ago, a stranger slept with the window open. Fog surged into his room. Imagine waking from a dream of sky to sky. Tonight, your face vanished from my mind's unending mirror. A blue sadness replaced it. A sound, not your voice, not your laughter, but the echo of a shotgun. I strike my dresser's mirror, break off a shard the size of your head. There are 86 sadnesses in this room alone. I counted each of them. The serpent standing upright to the height of the ceiling, the warm bear skulking in the corner, his fur matted in dust. I've grown a blue mantis the size of my hands. I've headed copper and hyacinth, and often the black caracara locked in the closet ululates at night. I'll carry the nightstand, carry the bed and the desk, the lamp and the moth circling the lamp to a new room in a new country. I'll wear a different tongue. I'll lacquer the moon. I'll build a bookshelf from the bark of a dead tree. I'll kiss a man. I'll kiss a man. I'll kiss and ask the moon, when did my brother become myth? His face a brown blotch in my dreams, his skin particles floating in the sunlight. Some dull hour in the future, this alcove will be emptied of sound. On a still table in a changing city, my humbled body will open for the last time at the hands of a stranger. I'll love them for this final act of surrender, for the kind stitch and staple. And later, these walls will hold in them the hum of two lovers, which is to say two men or two women burrowing into each other's breath. And I'll finish with a new poem, which is called Parable of the Missing Country. We woke up from dreams of strange rains of smoke and lavender petals, of rains of meat and human teeth. And we found Mexico had disappeared from our maps, our globes now unfamiliar sketches, our travel guides, our aerial views. From the window of an airplane, the sand glittered in an endless shore. And from the mountains of El Paso, beyond the serpentine border and the rusted wall, not the lights that once glided our faces, but an unnatural dark we called home. We dialed phone numbers so long our palms cramped into fists. We yearned to hear our mother's voices, but met only the desperate wind of dead lines. Months shook into years, and we drew our bodies to cluttered rooms that reminded us of our childhood, where we drank mezcal and told each other outlandish tales from our hometowns in a Spanish so broken it carved the insides of our mouths. Years sparked decades. We forgot our mother's hands, our tongues, our old bedrooms, which melted like clocks and trickled out of our past. We no longer understood the brutal sounds our names made, so we traded them for softer notes. We smothered in our fingers an old memory, the sound of cigarras rasping the too hot summer morning we ran barefoot after the ice cream truck. We ran circles in our heads to keep this memory from fading, the way our hands faded in the quiet light of an indescribable absence. Thank you. Thank you.
Aldo, why you leave me so breathless? This work is so amazing. What? I can't. This is so good. Did I hear you correctly? Did you say this is the first time you were reading from the book out loud? Like,
Yes. Yes.
we are blessed. That is awesome. Hold up the cover again. I'm gonna start pumping the book out. Congrats on the book itself. Lovely. This is amazing. And now I have to figure out a way how to get you down to Houston. Don't worry, we'll talk because this is important stuff. Okay, so if you and Natty are comfortable with it, I'm gonna read one piece and then I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. I think Mohammed is in rehearsal, so it'll just be the two of y'all if y'all are comfortable. I'm gonna read one piece and then we can get to it and close out. Natty, how you feeling? Are you okay? Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna read a piece and then we can keep doing. Okay, so I wrote a poem in the form of a lesson plan. So I'm only gonna read I guess the writing lesson plan for the week, and it goes Monday to Wednesday, but this is all that it does. There's a reading part and a math part, but I'm just going to do the writing part. Okay, so here goes. Objective: students will recognize the parts of a letter. Intro letter writing with one you have written to the class on a poster. Read it out loud. Make notes of kids who say no one's ever written to them before. Mark all the parts. A, the salutation. B, the body. C, the closing. Tuesday. Objective: students will determine what to write in a letter. Inform kids that letters are hopes bound to conjuros. Survey students to see if they have ever written a truth never spoken out loud. Review the types of letters: grievances, condolences, apology, acceptance, etc. Tell them to write letters to their future selves, a love letter. Wednesday. Objective: students will draft a letter in gray pencil. Leave your letter up. One day they will remember it. Walk the room and read drafts. Tell kids that capital letters and periods are about confidence. Remind students to write about one fear. Example: failing. Breathe with them. Esto es bendición. Thursday. Objective: students will edit a draft of a letter in red. Model editing out doubt in sentences. This builds voice. Suggest a closing. I see you. Review spelling. Tell them mistakes build paragraphs. Leave your letter up. One day, you will both be a thing of the past. Remind them, open this letter in 5 years. Friday, objective. Students will finish a letter, all black or blue. Allow students last-minute fixes to lines and creases in their letters. Invite students to read letters aloud. Explain these are prayers. Say they will keep the drafts. Ojos de oro, hojas de oro. Insist they write a letter to the stars. Ivan will draw something for Abuela. Notes, supplies, lots and lots and lots and lots of notebook paper. Bring a knife or a pencil sharpener. Make sure you have some patience for the mistakes you will make. Stamps and envelopes. You will mail the letters finally. See if any of the business in the area have extra notebooks they are not using, then use them. Don't ask the parents. They do enough. Let the kids write a truth in a letter to their parents. That's what legacy is. I don't even know if that works right, but that's what I was working on. So okay, yeah, you can come back on screen. And okay, so y'all are brilliant. Oh my goodness. So to catch up, Aldo, Natty, Aldo. Like, I guess the one big question, whenever you're running into moments of like things aren't working, like the writing's having an awful time producing, like you've had a bad week, you stubbed your toe, the bills came in the wrong day, you forgot your briefcase, the milk spoiled, you get the point. Like, what do you do to like save yourself or let yourself breathe so that you can be better the next day? Like, how do you function? Either one of y'all.
Oh, well, I'll go. Well, Aldo thinks about it. For me, it's tough. It's really tough being, mom, writer, wife, all of those things. But I really like being outside. I sit outside quite a bit and I listen to music. And I just from my living, I know that it's not going to be like that always. And the other thing is things like this, being around other writers, poets, to remind myself that I do have something, and I still need to nourish, you know what I'm trying to say,
Nourish it.
Nourish that part of me. What about you, Aldo? What do you do?
So it might sound kind of strange, but ever since I was young, I always bury myself in cinema, but especially cinema that doesn't necessarily instill the best of emotions. So for example, scary movies, feeling scared, or sad, depressing movies. And that really gives me a sense of catharsis that allows me to kind of express what I'm feeling inside.
I actually can see that. Like, there are like movies that are impactful and that you go out and do. And then also like the aspect of sitting and being in a moment. I think that's the thread between both those things. Like, one, we reach it through nature, other we do it through media. And I think we end up at the same point of like, not like a renewed, either renewed, like, okay, I'm at a point where I've taken care of self. I needed the break, and here we move forward. I think for me, along both of those lines, I light fires in the backyard. Not so much in the summer, but now that it's kind of cooled off here, like I already built one and I just sit in the back. I'll take I don't know, maybe if I have a beer, if not a cup of cocoa or whatever, and I'll just sit in the back, and people like real pendejo, I'll just sit there and stare at the flames. And then just it's like the simple, I don't know if it's the mundanity of it or if it's just the being able to veg out with it and then just watching flames flicker. Like, I think that gives me a moment. And since I'm such a gregarious folk around other people, like when I get to take that moment to just sit, for me, that's the silent part. Hearing the crackle does the work. But I also do movies. Like, I don't know why, whenever I get stuck on something, I will put on Seven with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt. Girl, when my mom was still alive, when the movie came out, I was a freshman in college.
Uh-huh.
And my mom and I would go see horror movies all the time. And we had all talked about it at college. And I was like, hey, y'all okay if I bring my mom? And like all my college friends, all my new college friends were like, oh my God, yeah. So then I was like she's gonna ruin the movie, y'all. And they're like, no way. So we brought her, and like midway through the movie, the minute she sits down at that diner table with her and Morgan Freeman, and she tells Morgan Freeman that she's pregnant, and then Freeman's like, well, if you ever plan on telling Mills, the Brad Pitt character, and you're gonna have it, then have it and spoil that kid. But if you're gonna choose not to have the kid, then don't tell him. And then it cuts to the rest of the film. And then my mom leans over. She's eating popcorn. She's in the middle of like my other three friends. And she leans in and she goes, ay, pobrecita, she's gonna die. And I was like, no. And we all were like, no, that's not. I was like, I told you, shit, I told you. And we get to the end of the movie and it's the whole, what's in the box? What's in the box? And my mom was like, I know what's in the box. Te dije. And I was like, Mom. And then they were like, how'd your mom know? I was like, 35 years, retired psychiatric nurse. Like, what? But so it's all that, like, and I think that think back to that now, the layers and the language. And I sit with that film and I now analyze, like, if I could actually like get a screenplay of the film, the dialogue is like so rich. And I think like looking into all those things that seem, it's not so strange, Aldo. Like it's you're sitting in that moment with it, right? And it's almost the same thing like with nature, like being able to sit in the backyard and like just be in that particular moment and doing. I think like that's the healthy parts of like how we function. Are you a morning writer or a night writer? Either one of you. When do you normally like do craft?
I used to be mostly morning.
Yeah.
I used to be mostly morning, but it turned into night. Just whenever I can. I mean, it to me, like right now I'm talking, I was like, man, I need to go outside and write right now.
Yeah.
To me, I feel like it has been a really long time. I'm writing, but it's not what I want to write.
Yeah. Aldo, when do you do?
I'm kind of extreme in extremes, either like really early morning or really late at night.
So it could be like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. And Aldo's
Yeah,
like,
or just waking up 6 a.m. when I have to wake up early.
Yeah. I have tried because my partner is a morning person. Then she wakes up at 5 a.m. and does yoga and writes, and she has a cup of coffee. And I'm like, oh, I want to get to the pleasantness of that. And that's not what happens. I put the child to bed at she's 4, and it's a bath and it's a song and it's a phone call and it's a rezo, and then we go to bed and then bendiciones, and then the house is quiet, and then I get to sit in the house till like 9, 10. And then at 10, I'm like, I'm gonna write. And then I write for an hour, and then I'm like, cabeceando, and I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I'm gonna go to bed. So I might get like a half hour right. And it seems like it, like, people who are like, I write for 3 hours. First of all, what's wrong with you?
Right.
You got 3 hours. You better do your taxes or whatever. But so it's like the functionality of how when we write and we build. But yeah, right. Like that's the thing. So that said, we're gonna close out the evening. It was a pleasure. And I'm thrilled that we were able to share this space together. And I'm gonna take a photo on my phone, and y'all are gonna wave, and we're gonna do this thing. And look, you're gonna see my phone do the things. Okay, wave y'all. Wave. All right, cool. So everybody who's watching us live, we really hope you enjoyed this third Texas Poetry Roadshow edition. We will be back in December with another 3 different poets. And my love and much care, mucho cariño to you, Aldo. Thank you so much for joining us. And Natty, thank you so much for joining us. We will definitely be in contact for other things. And I love you both. And thank you so much for doing this. And for everybody that took the time to watch us, awesome. This will be recorded and will be on my YouTube channel. You can check out the other 2 readings that are already saved there. And if I edit this correctly, this will be on there within like a day or 2 already. It's already there now, but I just got to trim it up. So from my house to yours, y'all have a great night. And we'll talk later. And